All right, welcome to the video. This is going to be a implementation video. So this can be a little bit longer. I'm going to show you how to build EOS and what that would look like in your actual ClickUp base. If you're questioning whether or not you should use ClickUp, you shouldn't. Like, you should just use ClickUp. It's the best solution for EOS. There's success.co, there's Bloom Growth, there is 90.io, there's monday.com, Asana. I'm telling you, I've tried them all. I've spent hours. You can go back and look at comparison videos. In terms of simplicity and what you need, EOS is going to run the best on ClickUp. So that's my pitch. I don't work for ClickUp. I run my own e-commerce and affiliate brands and teams. And so I'm managing about 15 people across different departments and divisions, and you need traction. Slack is not your answer either. If you use Slack, great, but it's very unproductive. It distracts the shit out of me. Our company policy, managers can Slack subordinates, but they cannot be slacked by subordinates. That way, if you're working on something and you need something from someone and you're just lazy and you don't want to go find it yourself as a manager, you can Slack people. But if you really want to know the truth, human capital is wasted when you're fishing out unproductive information. So it's really just a bad culture to say, hey, use Slack. That's you should be an adult. You should find out what people are doing through Slack. People who use Slack are just not thinking strategically. Like, you want human willpower to be used on problems and projects, not fishing through information and confusion. So anyways, that's part of this. The other big thing, I'm not going to sell you on this with EOS, is this idea that you need to understand Entrepreneurial Operating System. So go skim Traction, learn what a level 10 meeting is. There's a 7-8 minute video there on YouTube. You can find out. But essentially, you want to have a reporting aspect and then an issues section in every meeting. So if you're going to do standing, recurring, regular meetings in your company, which I recommend, but not a lot, 1 or 2, maybe 3, but definitely not 3 90 minutes. If you're doing something like this to review the entire business every week for 90 minutes, then this framework I'm going to show you and build here is going to help you build that. So just skip ahead. We'll time code this thing, but essentially, I've got a ClickUp base here. I'm going to switch it to white because it's just a little easier to follow the theme of the white. Let me find this theme. I'll switch it to light. Just gives you a little bit more, and I'll zoom in a little bit larger. I think ClickUp's kind of done a shit job of keeping the beginning of this simple, but if you're new to ClickUp, this is probably not the tutorial for you, but I will show you a lot of stuff. Basically, the way ClickUp works, if you've ever used something like monday.com, you have different sections in here, dashboards, etc. You have a board, you might have stuff in here that you're tracking, whatever. But with ClickUp, it's different. And then I think I just set up a demo. Trello, to-do list, you drag and drop cards. This is a lot of the way ClickUp works. It does the same exact thing. It will make lists and boards. So this is a board view of tasks, if you will. This is a task, you have comments, people on the team working on the same task can mention stuff, they can tag you, they can conversate. In here, you usually describe what this looks like. And then the beautiful thing about having your workflow set up with your team with due dates is you assign priorities, ownership, and a due date. And then you can kind of chunk down milestone. That's fundamental project management in a nutshell. You've got to have a due date and priority and owner of whatever's going on, right? Like, if you have 10 things in the company to do, no one knows who owns what other than maybe 15 messages ago on Slack, someone was tagged. Great. So then that person that was tagged is the owner. This eliminates and nukes out the ambiguity. So going back to ClickUp, we're building this, and I know I'm doing a lot here, but I'll give you timestamps so you can jump right ahead where you want to be. But building the base, right? So with EOS, really, you're going to have 2 components in your ClickUp. You're going to have your list board view where you manage all of your workflow. And then you're going to have the meeting, like the actual folder for the meeting, where the company meeting, where you want to review your numbers, your headlines, your issues, your to-dos, your goals, all of that can be set up. So let's go through, I'll blow through it real quick. I'll show you how this works. The first thing I'm going to do is remove this channel thing because I don't need it. We'll just minimize this. I'll get rid of this. Unfollow this channel. I don't have this on mine with our company because they charge you a lot more if you start using DMs and all this stuff. And again, I don't want the distraction. So I guess they're going to leave this in here and you can't get around it. So I'll put it at the bottom. I'll put this at the bottom as well. And then boom, cool. So I got rid of all that crap. But yeah, I would not recommend you use the chat feature because project management is designed to make you productive, and interruptions are probably the least productive thing in society right now. I don't like this all tasks view, but it looks like it's kind of a default thing, so that's fine. The big thing here is we're going to call this our executive team. So I'm going to name this the executive team. Save that. ClickUp works in spaces, folders, and lists. Right now there's just a space here. And let's see here. I believe this is a space. Yeah, this is a space. So in a space, you can make a folder, which can hold lists within it. So we're going to call this the team boards. Technically, it's the team lists because that's just how ClickUp uses it, but I'll call it like this, right? So what's going to happen here is under the space here, we're going to have a board, and it's going to default show you a list. And we're going to drag in, you've got project 1 and 2 here. Let's actually get rid of these. These are defaults. I'm going to nuke these, get rid of them. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump in here in this folder, and we're just going to pretend like we're a company of 2 people. This, you probably wouldn't build this for 2 people in a company, but I'm going to show you what it would look like for 2 people. So Kurt's list. Basically, this is where all of my tasks are going to live. I don't want any automation there. And there's a list view and there's a board view. It's really interesting. They changed the UI for this new account. They have default what they call statuses. This is like, think about Trello, right? When you make a column, it's a list up here where your tasks live. But I like to create a default. So to do, in progress, complete. For me, I think there's a need for a couple other statuses here. And so I'm going to build the template working list / board for the company teammates, anyone on the executive team members, project managers, they do tasks. You want to build a list for them so they can be assigned tasks. They can go to that list, and that's their world where they can operate and do their job. So think about having a board and a list view for every member. The best rule of thumb is first make your template list. So you can do it however you want. You can come in here and go to the little 3 dots section, and you can edit the statuses. So let's go list settings and list statuses. And we're going to add a couple more into here. I like to make this custom. And then you're going to do one that's really popular is waiting for, in my opinion. And that's kind of like one that might be blocked where you have a task, you're doing it, but you need someone else to get something done on that task before you can move it to completion. So you have your to do. I like to change this to be called doing. It's really not that big of a deal. Doing, waiting for. Some people like to have maybe in here. It's another section for kind of pondering when you're doing stuff and you want to see where it's at. And then lastly, for us, we use reference. Some tasks you work on, you have so many notes in them that it's just kind of, there's no real good feature yet in this software. And frankly, in any one I've seen where you can just sort of vacuum up all the notes and files and consolidate it into a documentation. So some tasks are so deep in terms of the notes and information that you want to keep it, and you want to keep it on your board as a reference. So that's really kind of where that sits, and it's more of a done status to me than an active one that's going on here. The same with maybe. I would probably put maybe there. So that's your template right there. You got a team list, and now any of these statuses you set up will be duplicated, and the board will follow all of these statuses because it has all of them now saved with the right colors. You can customize this however you want. Right now, there's nothing being set up yet, but you can add a task. So test task, and you'll see, boom, now you have a test task and all the statuses updated here for you to see. And drag and drop works just like Trello, right? So you're able to drag and drop. I'm on the web client, by the way. They often recommend you be on the desktop client because it's a little bit more, the app itself is a little bit more stable than the other. The other thing you want to look at here is your list view. This shows you, how you display your tasks and what columns you want shown here. So in what order as well. So like, let's do another test task. Test task number 2. I like to update these fields a little bit. And so I will come in here and go to settings. In here, they change this around a little bit. Usually it shows up down here. So customize. I like to show, I don't like images to show up on the tasks, so I save this over here. For the fields, I want the assignee, the due date, the priority, and also a time estimate for me. That really helps me think about my tasks and how they're being represented. Now on the list view, which again is the same view as this, but it's just going to show the status. It's grouping by status. So it's going to show you tasks. I personally get frustrated with my team when they have more than about 10, 15 tasks going. At that point, I'm like, you're doing too much. You need to back off. You need to just move stuff to long-term and download it when you've cleared the decks. But to have you looking at 15 to 35 different tasks all at once, it's not productive. Get in the habit of having 5, maybe 7 tasks on your slate and clean and clear. Operate that way and you're going to be a lot better in my opinion. So I kind of compress this sidebar. You can kind of adjust how you want this to look. The other thing you can do here is you can flip how things show. So again, there's a lot you can do here. You can descend this, which I prefer, and then you can save this. And then there's lots of additional fields you can create. Say you want to create a company impact matrix. You can display that in one of these subfields on the side here. You can change how these show up if you want to swap what goes where. So there's a lot of flexibility. That's the challenge with ClickUp. There's so much temptation and feature richness to what you can do that you tend to get lost in those features and you over engineer it. So I'm telling you right now, don't get caught up. What I'm showing you is the fundamentals. And now you duplicate this and you're going to be good. So come over here. You've got your statuses you're going to duplicate. I'm just double checking a couple things. With all boards, you can add automations. So these will come in handy and I'll show you how to use them in a minute because they're going to be really helpful for us when we create our EOS structure. Right now, I'm just making ClickUp function like it would if you are using it as a core project management. But here's the beauty of it, right? It has a description here. So you can say, this is a test task description. I should be defining what it looks like when this task is completed. I can assign it to me. I can assign a due date of next Friday, for example. I work with a lot of people internationally. Roughly 90% of my staff is from overseas, and they're task-oriented individuals that operate on a lower OpEx. Because of that, I need to set expectations on what timeline I expect or how much time they can put into a task. And then I need to really try to give them some clarity on all of this. This helps. If you look at this now and you go, consolidate finance admin applicants from Upwork. If that's the task, right? Hire from Upwork. I can say, hey, Hattie on my team, did you get that done? I need an update. And, Hattie can come in here. This will automatically show up here in his inbox. So now it tags what's going on. He sees it from his boss, me, and then he can comment back on this card and reply to this thread and go, yup, I've got this. I'm working on it. You can drag and drop files of all kinds, PDFs, video. You can record video right in here. If you use Loom, just drop the Loom links. It'll integrate with them. You can do Google Drive files. It works really, really well. You can just, thumb up if you're like, yep, I'm on it. You can add a little depth. Like if you want to do sub tasks, you can do that as well. So that's a lot of the ClickUp right there. And we're at 15 minutes, so I'm going to have to make this into 2 parts. In the next video, I'm actually going to build the EOS base, which is really the meat and potatoes of using ClickUp as project management. And you want that to be built because you need a way for your team and all of your company to come together on reflection of performance each week. And you need a way for them to message you as a team on how things are going. And if they have questions, a way to file and message about an issue or concern So I'm going to show you how to build that out. And if any of you have any questions so far, drop me a DM. Let me know how it's going. Let me know how I can help you, and we'll talk more in the next video. But that's the start of this one for now.